Welcome to another edition of the Quick Win Clinic. You'll notice that we're going to begin right away by looking at a site that was submitted to us. And as I think about this site, the most natural thing for me to do is to move into a sort of add, remove, change mindset, because that's the only three things you can actually do. So just think for a moment. When you're trying to improve the performance of a site, you can either add, you can remove, or you can change. And I'm sharing that with you because ultimately, the real question is not how do I change this site or what do I do about this site or how do I get a higher conversion rate, but it really is what should I add, remove, or change. And if you think about it within that context, you can go back to the conversion index that was developed so many years ago inside of our lab. C equals 4m plus 3v plus 2i minus f minus 2a. There's a little crowding there, but you get the idea. So let's just put this here. And I'm going to focus on two of those elements for this review. I'm going to focus on A, which is your anxiety, and F, which is friction. These are negative components that drive down the response rate. So where is the friction, the psychological resistance? Where is the psychological concern as associated with this site? Well, let's begin. First, I land here, and you can see that within my screen, more than half of it is taken up with an image that I don't understand. I can't tell if that person is looking at me or looking away from me. I think they're looking away from me. I have no connection between that image and what it's talking about here in the text itself. I see a name. I suppose some people are familiar with the name. I'm not. And then I see simple loans and smart investments. This is friction already, because I'm working too hard to make meaning of the page. Get a Zopa loan. How would I want to get a loan so fast with knowing so little? Invest with Zopa, even more. Am I ready to make this kind of commitment? No. Now, if you have sold me somewhere else before I got here, this makes sense. But if you have people coming here who have not truly gone through the sequence of thought they need to achieve a macro yes, that is, I want to become your customer, or I want to become a customer of this particular program, then the first thing you've done is wasted half of your page asking me to take an action that I'm not ready for. Simple loans, smart investments. That doesn't answer the next question. Even if I were to do this, I need a reason, and that's not a big enough reason. Everybody says they have simple loans, and everybody says they have smart investments. Here's the problem. We're spending too much of our page trying to look trendy and trying to look like other websites. Listen, on the internet, best practices is just pooled ignorance. Probably the designers of this site were looking at someone else's site, but the problem is that person doesn't know what they're doing either. The goal of this site is to get a yes. It's to get the right yes. And you don't get that yes by rushing people to a decision they're not ready for, by consuming more than half of your page with a meaningless image, and then by tucking some text underneath it that says there's no such thing as one-size-fits-all finance. Big deal. Why do I care about that? Of course there isn't. Tell me something I don't know. Give me a reason to engage. Now, I have to pause for a second. You might be thinking, he's being awful harsh on that marketer. I'm not. I want to help you. The marketer, I have high empathy for your situation. But today, this moment, when I look at this page, I am not your co-marketing peer. I am the jaded prospect who thinks you're the suspect, who thinks you're doing something to trick me, and I don't want to waste my time. You've got to somehow get through all those negative experiences I've already had with other people who made claims that weren't true, with other people who lied to me, with other people who interrupted my life with ridiculous ads. You've got to overcome this enormous negativity that exists in the marketplace, and you're not going to overcome it with this type of approach. So to help you, I have to get out of my skin and get into the skin of that other party. And that's why when I look at this, I conclude, no thank you. In fact, it's not just bad, it's horrible. It doesn't come close to doing anything it needs to do to get me to start to trust you more and to move the incremental steps up the thought sequence to the macro yes.